That's on Lauren. I told Lauren what happened.
No, man, you can't.
I can't too. She just gonna come in later.
No, man, that's...
Ain't no nothing. She know what time it starts. We up. 8 o'clock.
She might
call
be
her live.
I'm about to call her right now.
That's fine. She can get shamed by not being here. Like the time she was supposed to be here.
Oh, that's messed up. Hold on.
That ain't messed up. That's on her.
Hold on, I'm calling.
I mean, ain't nothing to call about because we already
Oh,
know.
man.
Like, what you...
I'm calling her.
Okay, that's cool. What's up, folks?
You were supposed to be down here at 8. Michael started the thing. He trying to clown you.
Ain't nobody trying to clown nobody. She know how time work. She's a grown woman. She not Doctor Who. She not going to TARDIS like what you want. Hey, y'all. We have some technical difficulties. Maybe not. I don't know. We are live, as you see me walking in. It is what it is. With the News 19 Nerds, I'm Michael.
I'm Leroy.
Another one's coming. I think I feel her slowly running down the hallway. She running down the hallway? Oh, there she moving. She moving. She walking at a brisk pace, y'all. She coming with some fire in her veins.
Man,
I tried to tell him to stop.
I said
you said 8 o'clock. I mean, I understand, but you know, people had to use the bathroom.
Y'all work for a news organization.
What do you say, y'all? I was down here. You didn't even bring the camera.
It's up though, right?
Oh, have mercy.
You knocking the table down?
My bad. See, hey y'all.
No, you did that because you wanted to be like, I'm tall and I'm gonna push the table back.
No.
My long legs. Oh.
We probably should cut this out because, you know,
I mean, we can run into each other's off.
Okay,
whatever.
let's push it up like
right.
this. Okay.
All right, leg room.
We've assembled.
All right, so now who are you?
I'm Lauren.
There we go.
Late
The
Lauren.
nerds are here. I didn't know you was gonna do that.
I'm sorry. I couldn't help it. The alliteration was right there. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I just had to reach for it. Okay.
All right.
So
when's the last time we did a press play?
when we had that,
Y'all might
you
know.
thought I forgot.
Who are you yelling at?
I don't know.
Nobody that's ever going to see this
hyped.
that matters.
I'm still hot. They stole like. Okay, you guys. My ass. Okay. First of all, let's start again. Sorry, we're the News 19 Nerds. I'm upset because we tried to put this video.
Stop it there. We're going to eat some emotions. I'm upset. I'm confused.
We tried to do this Joker review earlier, but we had some problems, some technical difficulties, so we did it again.
I work with amateurs
You said it every time.
who
and
don't
I'm
know
fine
how
with
to
that.
plug in a mic.
Hey, but we know how to be here at 8. Should have came from me.
I mean, you're right about the microphone, but you weren't here at 8.
I wasn't.
You should have
I
came.
was trying to get here. Too.
So okay, back to what we were saying.
It's pretty
We had something here. You guys notice it's missing.
Yeah.
As you can see, we work for a news organization, and sometimes the stuff that we have gets misappropriated for other things.
Yeah.
And that's what happened.
like the fair.
Fair. It is what it is.
It is
Stay
what it
fair,
is.
y'all.
What's up, Clay Porters?
Clay Portis in the
Hey.
house. So yeah, so that's why we're doing this Joker review now. We're doing it live because
Yeah.
we want to interact with fans with this.
Yeah.
And we wanted to see what you guys think and give our opinion.
So we're going to start non-spoilers.
Non-spoiler. So this is
My
non-spoilers.
non-spoiler list.
What, you got a non-spoiler and a
I
spoiler?
do have a non-spoiler
Hold
and
on.
spoilers.
Her, you notice, considering that somebody was talking a lot of trash, like
I came prepared.
I had these thoughts, and I just can't do them. Her list now was longer than the one that was.
No, I had this one the other day.
She had that shit the other day.
I thought it was longer.
Nah,
This one's longer.
It just has the front and the back.
Okay.
Yeah.
I stand
Okay.
corrected.
All right, so
Came with a hot fire.
as we start this foolishness, let's kick it off with non-spoilers. Overall thoughts of the movie. Did we like it? Start with me? Okay,
Yep.
I'll start. I've had more time to think compared to the last one that we did. I've had even more time to digest this.
We had a
video.
whole review, y'all.
We did.
Oh, I want to bring up Sin City again.
You find a way.
Oh, I'll find a way to talk about Sin City again. I enjoyed the movie.
Okay.
I don't need to see it again.
Why you look at me?
I think Joaquin Phoenix delivered a stellar performance. Mm-hmm. I don't know if he'll get the Oscar win. I think it's pretty clear he'll get an Oscar nomination.
Okay.
I
Definitely
think
a Golden Globe nominee.
I think the material that he has, I think he may have elevated the material that he has. A lot of the topics and the things that this movie tries to broach, it kind of it touches on them, but I don't know if it goes full enough to fully support its argument, whatever it's trying to do. But either way, Joaquin Phoenix is delivering a killer performance throughout the entire movie. and I'd probably give it a 3.5 out of 5. I think that's what I said last time. So yeah.
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 I did enjoy the movie, but I also left very confused and kind of hurt a little bit. I don't know. I had mixed emotions when I left, and I think everybody walking out of the theater with us, because we went on a Sunday night late night show. So it wasn't packed, but it was a decent amount of people. But some of the people got up really quick and walked out. Some people waited to see if there was some, post-credit scenes.
Do you think some people waited because they were just like, what did I just watch?
I waited to digest. I was waiting, just digesting this whole thing. I'm like, I'm not ready to move yet because it was a lot.
Yeah. You mentioned that because we saw it together.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you noticed, I did see some people leaving before it was over.
Yeah, some people were like,
Like, I don't know, when we saw it.
Really? I did see some people. I just
people
thought they
were
were going to the bathroom.
At that late in the movie? I feel like they were leaving.
It's a wrap.
Yeah, they were like, I got what I needed and I left. So they were gone.
Okay.
I knew it was going to be deep, but I didn't know it was going to be that deep.
Okay.
Because I knew from the trailers that we saw with Joaquin and everything leading up to this, it was like, okay, we know they're going to take it there in terms of talking about his mental issues.
Yeah.
But they went even deeper than that, and that was what was kind of like, whoa. Now, Joaquin Phoenix, I'm going to give you your props, man. Clap it up for Joaquin and them. Because we did say
I never doubted you, sir.
that he
We
wasn't.
didn't know
I didn't know
Joaquin
this
Phoenix.
man.
Really?
I didn't know him like that.
We didn't know him like that.
See, I guess I always thought you guys knew from just Gladiator and Walk the Line. Like those two should just like see
I don't remember those. I don't remember.
Son, when he did this, and he did that thing with Busy Little Bee, and I was like, yo, you are like, son. Like, Gladiator is one of my favorite movies of all time, and that's because of him. So I knew coming in he was gonna be. But yeah, let's give a shout out to Joaquin.
Yeah, and so that's kind of so. All right, he's good. We appreciate the work that he's done, and I definitely think he's going to get an award or something for this, some recognition. Let me see what else I had on my list. I did say that it was pretty long. This was a pretty long movie.
It was.
And I don't feel like we got to. Maybe we got to where we needed to get at the right time, and I'll go back on that when we start talking about spoilers. But it was kind of long for what it was. I could have wrap that up in a quicker time frame, but I'm gonna give it a 4 because overall I was entertained. Joaquin did a good job, and I walked away with some thoughts. So it was very thought provoking.
I will give it. I've had time to digest. I will say I do want to see it again. I don't know if I will own the movie.
Right.
It's one of those movies where I don't know how I feel about it. Still, I've waffled. I will say Joaquin gets a 5 out of 5 for me for his performance. His performance was top notch. I cannot knock anything about him. The movie itself, we talked and the reason why I brought up the early the review that we did, we talked about it. Michael gave it a solid 3. I originally gave it a 2.5, and during our review, Michael had convinced me that there were some things, and we'll get into that later in the spoilers, that if you look at it a different way, the movie changes. And as I thought about it, I see that, but I still only give the movie a 2.5. I like thinking of, because I had time to digest, and this is why I want to see it again, because I waffle between the way the movie was shot, the way the movie looked, the way the movie felt. It's an amazing attempt. I'm not going to say it's an amazing piece of cinema because it was not.
So like the parts are better than the whole?
Yes, there are parts in it that are better than the whole, and the thing that I did not appreciate is you had so much material to work with, so many different people to work with, and I felt like you did not do it service. The only person who was and again, it was his movie to carry. It was Joaquin Phoenix.
Right.
So, but everybody else was an ancillary character that literally had no meaning for him, and I did not like that. And so for me,
I feel like some of those characters did have some meaning.
I will say they had meaning, but the problem is they were not like you had a movie with Zazie Beetz, Robert De Niro, Brian Tyree Henry, Sam Morril, Greer Barnes, Mark Maron. I'm trying to remember what the woman who played his mom, But you had so many different actors and actresses who just basically, you could have swapped out other people and it would have done. Nobody lasted long in your mind. You know who they are, but none of their performances stuck out. And so none of their performance stuck out to me, which means none of their performances mattered to him in the movie. So that bothered me when I thought about it. That's why I said I want to see it again. Because I want to know, it's very unsettling, but I still only give it a 2.
That's the word.
I still only give it
Unsettling, that was the word, yeah.
I still only give it a 2.5.
Okay.
Out of 5, I'll still only give it a 2. The movie itself.
The Joker is like an onion. It has layers.
It does.
You gotta peel those layers
How
back.
many more of those you got for this thing?
It could be a parfait like Shrek. But I think it's more of an onion versus a parfait.
Okay, that's cool. So we talked about our scores, 3.5, 3, whatever. You said 4?
I said 4.
4, you said 2.5.
You said a 4?
I said 4.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
And that's what I still enjoyed the movie, but I'm not gonna go see it again.
Right. And so with our scores, the 2 people who had the higher score were not as keen on the first trailer as the person who was.
Right.
When we did our first review, when we were bagging on Joaquin or whatever, we were not high on that trailer like Leroy was. He really enjoyed it.
Leroy was like,
and I'll be honest with you, I've
like,
gone back and watched the trailer. I still love the trailer. But I also feel like that trailer sold me a movie I did not get.
Because this was a very artistic take on the Joker.
I agree.
And so it's not going to be the kind of Joker that you know,
I agree with that.
That we're used to versus in the comics and in movies that we've seen.
Yep.
I'm still a huge Heath Ledger Joker performance person.
So as you talked about that, it might not be the one that we expected or whatever. Someone that we also happened to see with friend of the show, Erskine, he said he really liked it. And I wish he could be here to elaborate more on what he said. But he said, in his mind, and he is a comic fan, as you are, Leroy, he said that it was the perfect depiction of the Joker. Or like he thought it was the most accurate depiction of the Joker.
For him,
we're definitely seeing a lot of different viewpoints on the movie overall.
So I guess I'm coming from the most basic of basics.
But I mean, you're still a fan. I mean, I don't say basic of basics. You may not be immersed in material, but that doesn't mean you don't.
I know that the Joker comes from a place. You know, he does have a lot of pain, and a lot of issues mentally, and so I was expecting him to snap a little bit sooner than he snapped. If that makes sense.
Okay.
Well, I will say, did he snap later, or did he snap in his initial?
He snapped. I'll tell you exactly when he snapped.
We'll get to that. Because then this is one of the things.
You need a pen?
I need a pen so I can make sure he snapped.
Hold on.
Is that a pen right there?
I got one.
We got pens.
Oh, we got pens.
I always keep a pen on me. So one of the things I want to say for people who want to see this movie, if you haven't seen it, I recommend it. Even though I gave it a 2.5, in my opinion, my humble opinion, I still like the movie in the sense that it gives you a conversation piece. You mentioned the things that it broaches a lot of subjects, it tackles a lot of topics, but it doesn't necessarily handle them well. And I thought maybe they juggled too many of them. But I will say I recommend you go to see this movie. As an adult, I recommend you go to see this movie because to me it's a great conversation starter. I wish I could have I want to see it again, and I want to see it with my wife because I want to talk about some of the themes in it, how she felt, how she felt about it, because I got a very unsettling feeling, and it felt like to me a lot of times the camera lingered too long on him, which made me uncomfortable in saying, "What are we watching?" And that's one of the things. But I will say this: it's still a very different take, and now we've had Cesar Romero, Jack Nicholson, Tim Curry, Mark Hamill, Jared Leto, Heath Ledger, and now Joaquin Phoenix. We've had 7 totally.
I don't think Jared counts.
I think Jared counts. I
think he counts for sure.
I think he counts for sure.
I don't know if
you may not like him.
Tim Curry did it enough.
Yeah, I don't think
did enough to be.
I think
he did a few episodes.
I think Tim Curry did it enough to the point where he introduced it in a cartoon form that Mark Hamill took it a different direction. And that's why I say Tim Curry, he has his own interpretation, and it may not have been as long as some other people, but I do think he left his indelible mark on the character because that allowed Mark Hamill, which let's be honest, a lot of people had no idea Mark Hamill voiced the Joker in Batman and the Batman animated adventures.
Yeah.
A lot of people found out later
Y'all keep
on
going.
that it was like, oh snap, this is.
And I enjoy everybody having their own take on everything. You know, everybody bringing their own experiences, their own levels of crazy they can go to. I don't, you know, for lack of a better word, but because you know, I know I strictly know the movie.
Yeah.
The cinematic versions of these. So like Jack Nicholson, when growing up, I was like, man, Jack Nicholson's crazy, you know.
Yeah.
And then seeing, you know, with Heath and then Jared and then now Joaquin, I think everybody brings their own artistic take to it. And of course, with Joaquin Phoenix being more of a deeper actor, we were gonna get the full, deep.
But you know what?
Deep mental struggles.
Piggybacking off of what you said, I also think it's a difference in how you become the Joker. Because Jack Nicholson was a gangster. He was a fully developed man who became the Joker. Joaquin Phoenix, the rumor is, or the scuttlebutt, or the theories are, he was a soldier dealing with PTSD who became, that's his interpretation of the Joker. So each person is introduced to being the Joker differently, so that informs how they play it. Joaquin Phoenix is a clown or a stand-up comedian who then becomes the Joker based on what happens. So I think that also plays a part into it too. And that's why I said I can't just, oh, the movie was terrible, it was trash. Some people have just literally been like, it is trash. And
Another friend of the show, Destiny
Johnson,
did not like it.
from
no.
from KGW.
Yeah.
Check out her review. I can honestly respect her opinion on this and say, I can see where you came to these points. I may not agree with all of them, but I respect and say, I can see that, why you felt that way. For me, I don't totally bash the movie because I think there was a stellar performance of Joaquin Phoenix. I just think the rest of the movie, he literally put this movie on his back and carried it.
And you also have to think about
deformed.
Oh, he's deformed back.
Overlooking back. Yeah.
You also have to think about, you know, this movie. Just for people who haven't seen it yet, this movie could trigger, you know, some, could be triggering for people who have been through trauma or who, you know, have anything that they're struggling with mentally like this too, and
mental illness. If
illness.
you've been attacked violently like this,
yeah, if you've been jumped before, like
Oh,
you
yeah.
might see this and be like, you know what, I might just pow, you know.
Yeah.
But that's
the
you know,
violence in this movie
it's
is
violent.
It's very real.
Yeah.
So I would, before we get to spoilers, I want to say one thing, and I want to shout out to the commenters. Baby Boo, it's definitely the type of
Don't
movie.
read that yet.
Oh, okay.
I
Okay.
don't know if these are spoilers yet.
Yeah.
Okay,
I think Baby
so
Boo might be spoilers.
Baby Boo, we'll get to your comment in a second. Some people hate this because they need to believe all evil people are born evil. They cannot accept the idea of society being responsible for creating
and
evil.
that's something that was talked about.
That's-
You created this. You create. You know,
I and we'll get to, because that's another spoiler. But
Yeah.
I will say Todd Phillips talks about the fact of he got in. We talked about this in again our previous review that did not go up. Todd Phillips
Y'all look for the lost tapes.
lost tapes.
The lost
News
tapes.
release the
19.
Snyder Cut. He got into some trouble with his comments about the movie and saying woke culture killed comedy, and I disagree. Going back to Cammy's point and Baby Boo's point a little bit without going into spoilers, if Todd Phillips had said, this is a movie that cannot get made as an original movie, nothing attached to the Joker, this is the movie, a la King of Comedy, I would have supported that and he'd have been right. He didn't say that. He said woke culture, the PC culture, killed comedy and yada, yada, yada. I disagree with that. You had 4 hilarious comedians in there. Mark Maron, Greer Barnes. I swear to you, Greer Barnes, the way, have you ever watched his comedy, Greer Barnes? The way he talks and is amazing. Shout out to him. Sam Morrell, go watch his bit about the alligator. Hilarious. And Clay Porter's, totally false narrative. Yeah, it could be. But also, Robert De Niro, people are funny today. You may not like the funny, but people are funny. So to say that, oh, it's not funny anymore, I disagree with that. I think this is a risk take that he did. I say that there's still funny people out there. There's still comedy being made. You watch Good Boys and Booksmart.
Book Smart. Didn't watch Good Boys yet.
You didn't watch Good Boys? I
Good
thought you
Boys
told
is
me.
good.
Okay, so
Yeah.
you.
There you
Sorry,
go.
Book Smart is hilarious.
He combined us.
Yeah.
No, I thought because I had a
Because
conversation.
we both
about
look alike, huh? Everybody look alike.
I mean,
Y'all see what happened here?
y'all both black.
I don't need to call out nothing.
Yeah.
Hey, that's what happened.
First of all, you're both black and
By
got
your
hair.
own.
You're both black and you got hair. So that's all I see.
Jeez.
I'm hating. For those of us without, we mourn the loss.
Now we know what's under the hat.
Oh, they always knew. I've been taking
Okay.
off
He's
before.
taking
Alright.
off. Yeah.
So yeah, I disagree with that whole idea that comedy is dead and all of this stuff. And Mark Maron even came out and basically called BS on that and was like, comedy is about punching up.
Not down.
The truth, the power. And that's something that we do as journalists, and that's something comedy does. It does it a different way, satire. So I disagree with that, and I tried to go into this movie with an open mind, not letting those things, because I did, and I still, to this day, am like, I don't know what I watched. But I do enjoy what Joaquin did.
I tell you, some of these
All right.
the parts of the movie were funny though.
We're going to do spoilers now?
Yes.
All right.
Spoilers.
We're doing spoilers now.
Spoilers, yeah. So now,
Spoilers talk. So you guys can do spoilers in the
yep.
chat.
And
all
we're
that.
gonna read all your comments because
Yeah.
a lot of your comments are very good.
So how do we want to go
Let's start from the beginning.
with the garbage strike? The beginning of the movie with the garbage strike, that's like SimCity?
I would say, well, I knew he was gonna do it.
He had to find a way to bring it back.
You the one said start from the beginning.
Okay, let's start from the. So with spoilers, let's talk about the movie. Go.
Yeah, all right. So from the beginning of the movie, we see that Gotham City is, what, 70s or 80s Gotham City is in
Right.
unrest.
I say 80s because they had VHS tapes.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
Color TVs.
Yeah.
Good old 4x3. Oh, yeah.
Great.
Bluetooth.
yeah. We see the city is unrest, and they're kind of like on the verge of tipping. Something could tip them
Yeah.
either way. And we kind of get that something's been boiling throughout the movie the entire time. Do we think that... I don't know what I was going to say now.
Oh, okay. But you know about that unrest in the
SimCity.
City.
You trying to play me right now?
Yo.
All I'm saying is the unrest in this game with the garbage people is kind of like SimCity.
How
If
it
you
just
have
go-
unrest with your citizens, people can start tearing up buildings, and
Civilization,
Godzilla can come.
civilization
Yes.
is like that.
And
If you
Godzilla will
don't-
come and destroy your buildings and tornadoes and all that. That's all I'm saying.
With anything. Okay,
Thank
so
you.
yes, so they were hyped. They were already very
They
pissed
were-
off
they were on the
about a
edge.
lot of things.
Yeah.
On edge. Anything could have set them off.
Well,
so
and not only that, you saw that. So one of the things that I thought was interesting was when he was talking. You brought it up when he was trying to make that little kid laugh, and the mom just snapped on him. And it's like everybody seemed to be mean for no reason, and it goes to that idea, which is why you convinced me. I went back and forth, and even I want us to go back. It's not a touchscreen.
Total false
Dumb.
narrative.
it is
Yes,
not.
Like-
because and that's why I was like.
You talked about some of the supporting characters don't have much to do.
No, they don't. And it goes to that idea that you said, is this a true depiction of what actually happened? Because we saw what happened with Zazie Beetz, and everybody was like, before the movie came out, everybody was like, how does Arthur Fleck pull a woman like Zazie Beetz? And we realized, spoiler, he does not.
Yeah.
That did not happen.
Question: did she die? That's the question I walked out with.
I
like,
don't.
Did
We
she die?
don't know. But again,
I feel like it's left ambiguous.
it is, and because he's an unreliable narrator. I want to say, who was it who brought it up?
A lot of people have been saying
Yeah.
that.
Clay Portis, total false narrative told by a psychopath. He might not even be the real Joker. And Todd Phillips even talked about that. He may not even be the real Joker. He may be what inspires in this universe what becomes the Joker.
So you see the news reports, you see everything, and so that who might already be a gangster or might already be whatever gangster.
Can we talk about
Coming in and becoming the Joker
the failing
officially.
of the newspapers?
Go
to
for it.
automatically.
Yeah, go.
When we saw that, I don't know if it hit you guys, but just being in business, like they didn't have enough information to already, at least based on what we saw in the movie, I don't feel like enough information was given for them to automatically label this guy a hero or a vigilante.
Vigilante? That was random. I was
Yeah,
like,
I was
what?
like, that's like a little bit salacious.
And where did we get
And
to vigilante from? Because weren't we just like mourning these three, men who worked?
Yeah, I feel like enough information was not given to us in the movie for the papers to make that jump to be whoever this was. Because when we first saw it, again, there isn't any type of like closed circuit security footage going on
Right.
at this time. So there's nothing showing exactly what happened. That, a point that you brought up, you could argue it was self-defense. That he got
'cause-
beat up
And
before
And
he shot
that's
them.
why when we first saw him get beat up the first time, I was like, man, that's messed up. Like, they didn't need to mess up with him like that. The second time he got beat up, I was like, okay, when's he gonna pull the gun out, because he has a gun.
He has a gun.
And I was honestly like, bro, you need to shoot somebody. Now, no, I'm not for anybody getting shot, but he had a weapon and could have defended himself, and so yeah. But with the problem lied in the problem. Problem lies in the fact that when he got off the train and then ran and shot old dude in the butt on the steps, that was a problem.
Yeah.
I would respectfully disagree.
All right, Leroy.
I'm just saying, like, he'd already been in a situation where where those kids jumped and they took his sign, and he was upset because everything was his fault, even though he was trying to do the right thing. Mm-hmm. When he talked to his boss, and his boss was like, what happened? You stole a sign. He's like, why would I steal a sign? Like, nobody wanted to listen to him.
Yeah.
And I felt like that was cruel. I thought a lot of people were cruel to be cruel. And again, that goes back to that narrative. But I will say this. When he got jumped, and that feeling of not knowing what was going to happen, and you saw when he was back in the cage with everybody, with all the other comedians, and you saw the marks on his back, you saw what they did to him for no reason. I rooted for him to shoot. Now, I didn't expect him to kill those guys on the subway. I thought he was just going to shoot, and then they were going to try to get the gun. But when he came out blasting, I was like, Chris Rock has a joke where he says, there's a zone that you need to learn not to go into.
For certain people.
For certain people. And because certain people push their luck, and then they don't realize you might get your ass whooped by saying certain things to certain people. Mm-hmm. I don't talk about people, mama, because you might get punched in the face. Because I know if you talk about my mama, I'm going to come for you. So they did to me. She never bothered nobody. So
she's nice.
The thing that got me was I rooted for him in that moment, because what they did to him was unwarranted. And two, they were horrible people. Mm-hmm. Now, the thing that I think is Thomas Wayne being a billionaire, and we've seen it in this business, we've seen it in real life, how someone can manipulate the news because they work for Wayne Industries or Wayne whatever enterprises, and he can manipulate and say, oh, these were good young men. No, they were terrible trash humans. Yeah. I'm not saying that they deserve to get killed, but they were trash humans by bothering that lady.
We also just saw a snapshot of their character, though.
Yeah.
So I don't know if they were drunk.
True,
I don't know if they were under the influence.
One of them was drunk, and the other two were talking about, if you listen to their conversation, they were not nice people.
Yeah, because they were clearly trying to neg this woman and bother her and have a drink, so she didn't want anything to do with it.
So she moved.
So yeah,
she got her.
So
things.
we could see,
and
even when they weren't messing with Arthur Fleck, they still
were trash people. And one of the things that was the beginning to me of the Eat the Rich theme that went throughout the movie, because everybody, Thomas Wayne was like, these were young citizens of someone to take their life because they had something that they didn't have, and it was like, no, you hired and had horrible people who thought because of their wealth and their status they could take advantage of other people. I thought that theme was presented well. I thought it wasn't executed well, but I thought that was part of this Robin Hood identity that the Joker had that I thought wasn't done well.
Going on that Robin Hood and supporting the poor people, the lower class, whatever.
Yeah.
Do you think, because something that was going on in a lot of reviews are criticisms of the movie, where do you think this movie like romanticizes the Joker, or like makes him be like, everybody should be like the Joker?
I think every movie with the Joker, with the exception of Suicide Squad, Jared Leto, I'm sorry, I love you, but that was Buyers Club, awesome. But I think the idea behind a sympathetic villain, or a villain you can actually understand, empathize with, makes for a better movie. Mm-hmm. And most of the great villains are villains you can understand. And you may not agree with their motives, but you understand their motives.
I love Killmonger.
That's what I'm saying. I don't.
Not besides the fact that it's Michael B. Jordan.
Yeah, I mean, it's Michael B.
You were like,
Somebody said Thanos.
Yeah.
Best villain.
Best villain. I like Thanos.
But I'm gonna be honest with you. If you think back, Thanos, Joker, Magneto, Killmonger. You understand their point. The Baby Boo brings up the interview at the end of the movie when he says, "You made this."
I didn't like that.
I see. I did. I agreed with that because
I don't agree that he made. I don't agree that society made.
I will say that society made that from his point of view because time and time again, when he was not bothering anybody, they came for him. He was doing his job, the sign. They did that. When he was on the subway, society did that. When he was going to his appointments, taking his meds, he was, and again, it's from his point of view, he wasn't going out his way to find this violence. This violence was visited upon him.
Right, but when I say I don't agree with it, the reason why I didn't like it is because at that point I kind of feel like I don't feel like he needed to say it. I feel like at that point you're kind of preaching to me, and I feel like there's more subtext to be like, I got where you're going without you having to say the words. Because at one point he was like talking for like just doing kind of like a soliloquy of just talking like, I get it. I don't need to hear you say it for me to know what's happening.
True, but I disagree with that because I think the character that he was playing he was on stage and this was his 15 minutes of fame and he was going to say, and we know he's not stable. We've seen that from everything he's done, and he just kept going. It's like.
And it also, I guess, for his point of view, it was verified basically that society made him this way, even up to his name, because you had Robert De Niro call him a Joker on. And that's
why I said
you called me Joker. Me that.
And that's why I disagreed to a certain extent because when he said you made me, the only reason why he was on that show was for Robert De Niro's character to make fun of him, and Mark Maron's character was like, yo, this is a bad idea. He was like, don't put him on. This is a bad idea.
Yeah.
And he was like, no, it's fine. It's good. And it's funny because, and for those of you, the reason why I say this movie was a little unsettling, I did not know how to take it, is go and watch King of Comedy. This movie echoes so many different themes of King of Comedy.
Taxi Driver.
More so with King of Comedy because Robert De Niro plays the talk show host, whereas in King of Comedy, he was the Arthur Fleck person who was trying to get that person's attention. And I got a lot of themes in that, and I honestly felt King of Comedy was a little better executed. But Robert De Niro brought that on himself because if he'd have never brought him on the show, that wouldn't have happened.
Facts.
You brought him on to make fun of him. And you
ended up dead.
You ended up dead because of your actions. And that's what. And again, he's. Well, let's be honest. He is an unreliable narrator. So yeah, a lot of this stuff may not have been true, but I felt like a lot of people were cruel to him for no reason.
Yeah.
And I'm just gonna say this: he's old 30. Just gonna say that.
Yeah, he was an old 30.
He was an old 30.
Man.
I'm 29. I'm gonna just put that out there. I turned 29 in August. And Lord, if I look like that,
but
y'all ask me what's going on.
But that shows you what mental illness and stress, poverty can do to you. We've seen mugshots.
We've seen mugshots of people that are like, that's 20?
That's meth though.
Some of it, but some of it's
hard living.
Some of it's just hard living and drinking, and he talks about when he stayed at Arkham before, and then we found out what really happened to him from his mom, and you're like, oh, you never had a shot. Like that was just you never even like they just like this sweep the legs, Johnny. They swept the legs of you as a baby.
Yeah.
So
they got him early.
I was talking about the moment when he snapped. I think because we had these moments where I thought that he could have snapped. He could have snapped after the shooting. He could have snapped after he was first beat up. Yep. But to me, the moment when it was like, okay, let's really do something about this was when he was in the meeting with his caseworker.
Yes.
And she explained to him that this will be the last visit. There's no more money for medication. I don't even have a job. They don't care about us.
Yep.
Like, all I want to say is that
they don't really care about us.
Yeah. It was that moment. And then he was like, well, if I can't go get my medication. Or I'm off my meds.
There was one, I'm going to butcher the line, but you guys, it was in the trailer. You talk about if I have a bad day. He said every
If you have a negative thoughts.
Negative thoughts. All I have is negative
Negative
thoughts. And that was a very poignant moment.
It really was.
I feel like that worked better than the end of
the speech.
Yeah. Like that was it was quick. It was maybe the way it was delivered. I don't know. I resonated with that line more than I did with the end of the movie in terms of.
I can see that.
In terms of him saying it.
I can see that. One of the things, piggybacking off what you just said, with you two about that, the interaction with the social worker and the caseworker, when he said, "You don't really listen to me. I come here every day and you ask the same questions over and over again." And it was very telling to me that they had this relationship. And this relationship he came because I'm quite sure it was court mandated. Mm-hmm. But I also think he came because he was trying to find help. Yeah. And that was the one thing he wanted to me. And again, totally unreliable narrator. He wanted to do the right thing, regardless of how bad it was. When he went to Thomas Wayne, when he went out there because of what his mom told him, he was in his narrow mind. That's what he thought was what he should do.
No, he should have done more. You're not gonna put your fingers in my child's
mouth. What
and you still walking?
You walked in my house. You touched my child.
First of all, we not bringing Beyonce up in here because that was a horrible movie.
I did. I found a way to do that.
He put his fingers in that little boy's mouth.
True, I understand that.
I'm sure his fingers was not clean.
Hold on, but in his mind, and I hate that I'm the one defending Arthur Fleck now.
He's crazy.
Yeah. Leroy has issues. We now know Leroy has issues. We got it. Keep going. Stand on your soapbox.
He thought that was his brother and that was his dad because of what his mom told him, and so
I get it from Arthur's standpoint.
From his point, and that's
I just feel like.
But see, this is the thing.
Thomas Wayne, why are you letting that man put his fingers in your child's mouth?
But see, this thing, if Thomas Wayne went out there, that Alfred was out there, and Alfred reacted how you would think when somebody who is mentally ill shows up with some crazy outlandish things. But the thing that bothered me but the thing that got me was, and this is why I said I felt like they were cruel to be cruel. Yep, Clay Porter, I agree with you. This film was made by somebody who watched I said King Comedy, he said Taxi Driver. And someone earlier said this movie was like watching American Psycho, which
somebody
I agree.
also brought up Christine.
Yeah. Now, okay, so you guys know the story of Christine?
Vaguely.
So, for those of you who don't know, good job bringing up Christine. Hey boo, baby boo. Christine was a reporter who was dealing with a lot. This was during I want to say maybe the 70s or 80s. I don't remember when. Rebecca Hall plays the character of Christine, and she spirals out of control. She's dealing with mental illness. She has a tragedy that happened to her. I don't know what it was, but something happened to her. She was doing live hits, and one day on the news, she killed herself. And you cannot find the video anywhere. Mm-hmm. Every time it goes up on a social media site, they take it down. It's very chilling. It really happened. She killed herself live on TV. It's not the only time it's happened, but it's one of the most famous times. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what he was doing when he was going to do on the show.
Right.
And then he changed how he felt.
Why do we think he switched? Because at one point we saw when he was setting up for the joke, he was going to kill himself.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's like, this is the end of my joke. This is the punchline. This is it. And then why do we think he switched from shooting himself to shooting
because
the TV host?
Because he's unstable. He switches at a moment, and you saw him go from lucid clarity to savage violence to not understanding what's going on around him. Like with the Thomas Wayne situation. He would refuse to believe anything other than what his mother said. Mm-hmm. And he never questioned, Mom, is this true? Like, he never went back. But then...
Well, how could you question if it's true? Because she believed that.
I understand that, but what I'm saying is...
Because he did ask her.
He asked her. But, again, this is a person who's...
And when he found out the truth...
He found out, what did he do?
He went and killed her.
He killed her.
Yeah.
Because... But the thing is...
With the help of fake Zazie Beetz on his shoulder.
Oh, my gosh.
No, Zazie Beetz wasn't in the room when he killed her.
Fair enough.
Yeah, she was...
Yeah, that's true.
But
that's true.
The thing that got me was he went to someone for help. Mm-hmm. And every time he went to someone for help, he was either attacked, turned away, or lied to. When he went to his mom was sending those letters. She was insane. And Thomas Wayne could have, again, mean for no reason, could have said, hey, let me help you. His
punch.
mom worked with them for 30 years.
Right.
And you cut her loose. And you could have easily said, I mean, they knew what happened to him.
Mm-hmm.
And they were just like,
what do you expect him to? I mean, he probably has a lot of people who has worked for him. Not like coming to say Thomas Wayne is the greatest person in the world, whatever. But he probably has a lot of people that work for him. A lot of people that he had to let go that are now in situations where they can't take care of their kids or they don't have food on the table. Is he supposed to?
I agree. See, this is the thing.
Feed them?
I agree with you, but then this is the thing that I feel like Thomas Wayne, what they did with him. Thomas Wayne was that guy who tells you, pick yourself up by your bootstraps. I did it, you can do it too. Mm-hmm. Without the help. And so I'm not saying he should have done it. I'm saying he could have done it.
Yeah.
And that was what I noticed throughout that theme. Even when those guys were killed, he was blaming the killer instead of saying, sometimes, I'm going to be honest with you, some of y'all get killed because y'all are doing something you ain't supposed to do.
People, in bad situations they need to be in.
Florida man.
Yeah. So let me go to Thomas Wayne for a second.
Yep.
Somebody brought it up in the comments of saying Thomas Wayne, he liked the fact that, or the viewer said they liked the fact that Thomas Wayne was viewed kind of negatively. Because usually, for the most part,
Clay Porter brings up Thomas Wayne was Trump in the 80s. There's somebody
Thomas
else.
Wayne and Martha Wayne are always put on these pedestals of they're incredible and they've never done anything bad in their lives.
Well, they tried to save Gotham through philanthropy, through being, and that's.
But like this is like, correct me if I'm wrong. How often are Thomas and Martha Wayne portrayed as bad guys? Not counting like the Joker who laughs and all that other stuff.
No, well, I know, especially in the cinematic world, we don't really see them. We don't know a lot about them.
In comics, he's always viewed as a benevolent billionaire.
Right.
He's always billed, and that's how he instills this idea of service to Bruce. Mm-hmm. That you saw it in, but again, this is a different movie.
Right.
From what's the guy's name who was on Law and Order and who plays Thomas Wayne? He plays Ozymandias in The Watchmen. You know what I'm talking about, right? He's like, why do we pick ourselves up?
That was him.
This is a totally different movie.
Yeah.
And so the difference in this Thomas Wayne is the time period that he is I don't want to be political, but he's one of those guys who is like, I did it, you can do it too. And if you're poor, it's your fault. And that's the character he played.
Right. And I noticed they did that in this movie, and I think the only other time really you get a negative portrayal of Batman's parents, or at least Thomas Wayne, is in the Telltale games, the Batman games. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you had played that yet.
Not yet.
But there is some negative stuff that comes to light about the Thomas Wayne family that normally isn't really in the comics. But I just thought that was interesting in the movie and that one time in the Telltale games.
I want to bring up a comment just now because we talked about this. Kavari, I want to make sure I'm getting your name right. Kavari brings up Joker broke Venom opening box office record with $96 million. I feel the same way about Venom that I do Joker. It took too long to get to that point. But once it got to where it was,
I was ready for it to end.
It was. I loved it. The scene with him, with the little person, and what was the guy's name in the apartment?
It's about Gary.
Murray.
Yeah.
Who was Murray?
You just said Gary. You said Murray. Which one is it?
I don't know.
Well, Gary is the name of the character.
Who was the guy who he killed?
Was that Murray?
I don't remember his name, but what I'm saying is,
who was Gary then?
Gary's the
little
shorter guy.
Okay, the little person. That scene, I thought that should have happened earlier. I felt that those scenes, and I thank Kavari for bringing this up. I liked Venom after the first 30, 40 minutes.
Right.
I loved it.
Right.
I liked Joker at the end to the point that it took too long to get there. Mm-hmm. And I felt like it was too busy dancing around to build up to this point because, again, the character of Joker is a homicidal, insane, mastermind criminal.
Someone brought up the John Wick. Someone brought up John Wick in the comments. I think it was...
I'm scrolling back up.
UI? I don't know. He said this.
You all have interesting names.
Yeah, this ain't no John Wick for sure. The scene actually portrays the act of violence in an ugly way, and that's one thing where I did not want to see anymore because John Wick, we see quick edits like when
you can always be like,
you can blink,
it's cartoonish.
and it's gone away, and it's like okay, it's fine. But they stayed on
Robert
De Niro's head
Yeah.
like this
Yep.
Yeah.
for entire of him walking away, like sauntering away too long. So once we got to the snap Joker, the Joker that was like, okay, I'm Joker for real.
Yeah.
I didn't really want to see it anymore because I was like, this feels too
Unsettling,
real.
Yeah.
This is unsettling.
And that probably was
feels too
intentional.
real.
That was-
think,
yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely intentional.
You talk about the shots like lingering too long.
Mm-hmm.
That probably was intentional because they
Yeah.
want you to sit in this moment. You are probably watching something you shouldn't
Yeah.
be watching.
Yeah.
And Todd
that's
Phillips probably wanted you to feel that way.
And that's
Oh,
how
yeah.
I felt, and I compared my feeling after I left Joker to Precious. When I left the theater seeing Precious, it was an unsettling movie. It hurt me, and I walked out there. I was like, I don't want to see this again.
You're a better woman than me.
Joker was unsettling. It hurt me, and I said, I don't want to see this again. I thought it was a good movie overall because it did the job
Yeah.
that it was supposed to do.
And
I
it's-
think, but I should have prepared myself better walking in there.
But you know what? Honestly, how could you prepare yourself?
I don't
for this?
know.
Because honestly, I feel like the trailer sold me a movie that was different than what I watched.
Exactly. That's what
and so for me,
they lied. They lied.
I felt like the trailer sold a movie that was different than what I actually watched. And whoever said, I think it was Jeremiah Hall, I think the movie did lend itself more to an American Psycho. It really did lend itself to Taxi Driver, where you're like, where is this going? And it just had the Joker's face on it to sell tickets.
But really, it's more.
And we were talking about. Were you going to say something?
I don't know.
Okay. I'll let you think about it.
Yeah.
We brought up earlier in the non-spoiler portion about this movie may not have been able to be made if it didn't have Joker attached.
Right.
No,
Because
I
feel like this movie didn't need to be a Joker movie. I personally feel like this movie could have been somebody. It didn't have to be Arthur Fleck or the Joker or
Yeah,
whatever. It didn't need to be tied to DC. It could have just been a person dealing with mental illness and the stuff they go through. And I feel like you would have had the same effect for the movie. I feel like the Joker stuff was tacked on, personally.
Okay.
Like, I feel like it didn't need to be part of DC Universe.
Well, this is
it
the
still
thing.
would have been an incredible movie if it wasn't called Joker.
See, this is the thing where I will say, Yui, I wish somebody could do the pronunciation for this guy's name.
Yeah.
Because I hate butchering people's names. I'm not trying to do it to be funny. He says it's an origin story. So don't think Joaquin was going to be the Joker right from the get-go. We agree.
We agree with that.
Yeah.
What I will say is I liked the fact that this movie was different. I like that Todd Phillips tried something. And I like the fact that DC is doing something. I'll be honest with you, there's no way in the world Marvel could have done this. There's no
At this point now, definitely.
there's no way in the world Marvel
Even
or
have curse
Disney.
words in Marvel?
Well, I mean, you saw Captain America's like language.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
Would you get like what about like maybe like a Moon Knight or something?
there's no I don't think Disney would allow a Marvel property in its incarnation right now. I think eventually they'll have to go that way. I think eventually they're going to have to make a rated R Logan movie. I think eventually they're going to have to make a rated R
Deadpool.
Deadpool or some of these movies. But I think in the way Marvel, I don't think you're going to get a rated R Marvel movie like Blade was on this level. And I think DC did something. And DC, we've talked about this. The worlds of DC is in a very interesting position where none of their worlds connect. It's the world of DC where they can be like, you know what? We can do the Emancipation of Harley Quinn and call it a Birds of Prey movie. And it can be funny and it can be a little dark. And we can do Todd Phillips' Joker movie. And we can do Shazam. Because they can easily say, I'm late. Wait, spoilers.
Yeah.
Peace, y'all. IMAX, good to see you.
Come back and watch the video if you are leaving. Come back and watch the video later.
I personally like the fact that they took a chance. I may not have liked the chance, but I would rather someone take a swing than play it safe. And I will understand if people are mad with Marvel. We saw Jennifer Aniston was like, I wish there were less Marvel movies. I can see some of that to a point because I can.
Girl, you better find your way to become a character and quit playing these games.
Now I do want to see her show Morning Show. I do want to see that.
Yeah, I do want to see that too.
But I do understand people's like, you're not risking anything when you do a Marvel movie. It's formulaic. I can understand that. Now you can't.
This was a risk.
This was a risk. Like they literally, that ball was coming and they were like, they pointed to the stands.
Yeah.
They pulled a big poppy.
Yeah.
Because they were like,
Saying the right way I swing. Left hand. I'm over here swinging right
you
hand.
were like a lightsaber. You was like, yo. So I don't. It may not have been for me. I know there are a lot of people out there who like this movie. for various reasons I can understand, but it just didn't resonate with me as far as the whole entire movie. But man, they took a risk, and I can appreciate the risk that they took, because this was not an easy.
You about to say something?
No, go ahead.
The fact that he was terrible at being a comedian, but was still funny, and didn't know it,
Yeah.
was what I enjoyed. I was in there
Son.
cracking up at some things that weren't necessarily
Yep.
part of his act. Like when he walked into the door at the hospital, and then waited there, and then was like,
Yeah.
just to prove his point that he wasn't going to turn around and go the other way.
Yeah.
And then when he was having his conversation with Zazie Beetz and telling her, when she came up and said, "Were you following me?" He said, "Yeah," and saying, "Oh, we should have robbed the place," and he's like, "Oh, I got a gun." That part I was laughing at. I was like, "This is funny."
Yeah.
He does that, but that
When he dropped the gun in front of the
Oh
kids
my gosh,
at the
that-
hospital,
yeah.
that was funny.
Son, that
Because he still kept dancing.
and
like,
then the
what
thing is,
do I do?
he was like, and the
With
way he
the
tried to
gun.
pick it up and he kicked it,
Yeah.
and I was like,
and the
yo.
little kids were like this. I was like,
Yeah,
oh.
that was good.
Because what if that gun would have went off? That would have been terrible.
Yeah,
That would have been terrible.
I thought one of the funniest moments was when he had that great scene with the cops, and he was like, "What did you do to my mom?" He was like, "I don't know. I gotta go back upstairs." Boom! Just like, yo, I was done. I was like, yo, and then he was like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then that nurse came out, done.
Yeah.
I was done. I want to see it again. I know you guys are like, you don't want to see it
Nah,
again.
I'm good.
I want to see it again. I don't own American Psycho. I have read the book from Bret Easton Ellis. I enjoy American Psycho because you don't know what really happened. And it's interesting. What are you looking at?
They kind of learn everything.
Do you think that it would have been sold well if it wasn't titled Joker, but instead just Arthur Fleck or some other title?
No, I definitely
That was
think
Sick Gecko.
from me, I definitely see why they put Joker on it to
Oh,
sell
yeah.
it for more. But I also think like it wasn't need. This didn't need to be a Joker story. This could have been a story just about mental illness. But
true.
I get why you put it on there to sell it. I think.
Oh,
it
true.
But could this have just been a story about mental illness?
Yeah,
because there was no resolution here.
True. I mean, but there's a lot of movies that's about mental illness that has no resolution. Interrupting Gia.
Yeah.
Girl
Oh,
Interrupted.
Was it? What's it called?
Girl Interrupted.
Girl
Girl
Interrupted.
Interrupted,
Yeah.
yeah.
I confused
Who's
two
interrupting
movies.
Gia?
I
don't know.
confused Gia and Girl Interrupted with
Because
the same.
Angelina Jolie?
Did really did.
Girl Interrupted I was like, whoa.
Interrupting Gia.
I literally did combine two movies just now.
Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I don't know if we'll get a Joker too.
I'll be honest with you. I don't see. Todd Phillips says that he's not going to do a sequel to it.
Joaquin Phoenix said he would be open to it.
He would be, but I don't know if this is the
we
thing.
gotta pray for Joaquin because he went through some things.
You know what? That's funny. You mentioned that because some
woo.
people were like, they brought counselors on for Suicide Squad.
Hello.
So
I would imagine.
So could you imagine counselors?
And you saw the transformation he did from Baby Boo. You're right. Baby Boo 2. The transformation Joaquin Phoenix reminds me of Christian Bale in Memento, to The Machinist, to Vice. He puts his body through things. Mm-hmm. Joaquin Phoenix did the same thing. The frailness of him was we say this word all the time.
Unsettling.
It was hard to look at. And you
put
felt
graphics up.
like you honestly like when you remember when you saw him, he was like this.
Yeah, trying to get that shoe.
He's like he needed a hug.
Yeah.
The hell with the other he needed a hug. If anybody needed a hug,
He needs some milk.
you're in timeout.
Lauren, don't ever change.
You're in timeout.
Don't ever change.
Guys,
You stay
Lauren's
the
in
same.
timeout. Lauren's in timeout.
That's what he needed. Milk
But-
and medication.
But if you look at he needed love, like that. Like I really wish, and I go back and I hope he didn't kill Zazie Beetz, but that music.
And now what? We got
Ooh.
this.
Do we think he killed the woman at the end?
Yeah.
Oh,
he had
yeah.
his bloody.
Oh yeah,
his
when he walked. Oh yeah, she's dead.
feet were
Okay.
bloody. And
Or
stuff.
she is either dead or close to dying.
And I don't know why they send people in there to try to evaluate his mental state, bro.
Yeah.
Just put him in the room and
Yeah.
give him some food.
Because they needed to find out. Because you got to remember, from the outside looking in, he's the leader of a movement, and
Yeah.
that's one of the things I think. To your point, I wish they'd have delved more into, like the movement around him. Like the fact that he saw these things. Daniel Day-Lewis, good. Ray Sean. What's up, Ray Sean? That's another one. Daniel Day-Lewis, man, some of these guys are they immerse themselves. And to your point, I really want him to get some help because he
needs some help.
The trauma he might have faced.
Walkless said, I got a question. When the movie ended, did Joker feel like someone you wanted to see Batman beat the brakes off of? You know what? I wasn't even mad at Joker, though. I honestly wasn't mad at him
Let me
at all
ask y'all
during
this.
movie.
At the end of it, and this is one of the things I struggled with, did you feel like Thomas Wayne deserved it?
Deserved what, to die? Nah.
Really?
I don't feel like enough was done for me to hate him.
I'm not saying hate him.
Well, just like to me, it was like he was a jerk, but he wasn't a big enough jerk for me to be like, yeah, he got his comeuppance.
But
I didn't feel that way.
I guess this is my question because I felt like
I was about to say that Thomas Wayne died, but then I realized yes.
because
He
you
did.
he's died in several movies.
He's all the movies.
Like honestly, if you play Thomas
I'm like,
Wayne,
Thomas Wayne died?
you know who needs to play Thomas Wayne? Sean Bean. Sean Bean. Is it Bean or Ben?
Bean.
Sean Bean needs to play Thomas Wayne
Yeah.
because he look at the script. Oh, Thomas Wayne. Oh yeah, I'm definitely dying.
Yeah.
Like I felt like not necessarily he deserved it, but I was like, man, you didn't do anything to stop it, so you brought this on yourself, bro. I really did feel like that.
As that one clown face dude came out went down the side street, I was like, oh, they about to get him. This is where it starts.
This is Crime
And
Alley.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of anything else we wanted to hit on.
These are my initial thoughts after seeing it. We saw it on Monday. You saw it Sunday.
Yeah.
I've been digesting. I've been rolling around. I've gone from everything from a 2.5 to a 4.5 because I've just been like, if a movie can do that to you, then it did its job. Regardless of how you feel about it, it did its job. It evoked an emotion out of you, and that's what we go to the movies for. So I don't know how I feel.
So Rashad Karki said, and this is something, it's interesting because I thought about this too. He said, Heath was great, but in terms of a solo movie, Joaquin just crushed it. And I did think that Heath's performance was elevated because he was in the movie with Batman. You know what I mean? So it wasn't like you just had a Joker out here just killing people. You even had what's his name? Michael J. White?
Yeah.
In there too. I was like, okay. But anyways, back to Heath Ledger. Like, so there were other characters that brought more
for him to work with.
Yeah, for him to work with.
And that goes back to Rishab's point. Is that again? Am I saying it right?
No.
Rishab.
Rishab.
It was a solo. Heath Ledger in The Dark Knight was him playing against all these different characters, whereas Joaquin was literally just carrying on those scrawny shoulders, and I don't know who's worse, Darth Vader or the Joker. Darth Vader, hands down. Darth Vader.
And Two-Face.
Darth Vader's an unstoppable force.
Darth Vader killed kids, man.
Yeah, he did.
Darth Vader killed kids because he was angry.
The younglings.
Darth Vader, you know what they need to do?
Killed them younglings.
They need to do a meme of Anakin with a Snickers, or Darth Vader with a Snickers, and then he turns into Anakin. Eat a Snickers, because you're mad. Because he literally, he was, and not only, son, Rogue One?
Yeah.
The scene from Rogue One where he just took people out.
Yeah.
Darth Vader still is top 10, top 5 villains of all time. Yeah.
People who haven't even seen Star Wars know Darth Vader was there.
My wife is scared of Darth Vader. She's like, a frantic. There's another Joker, someone who's on the spectrum. Yeah,
I think you might be done.
You don't remember that?
No, I remember it. I just feel like Lauren's done, y'all.
Oh, you know.
So y'all didn't play that.
Oh, son, you know what we forgot?
Okay.
Guys, you know what we forgot? The Fan, Robert De Niro, Wesley Snipes.
Yeah.
Oh man, that's another one. Oh, it's
wow.
That sounds like something in the 90s. Was that 90s?
Early,
probably.
yeah, 90s. So Wesley Snipes plays like a
baseball player, right?
He's kind of like, is it Barry Bonds?
Probably.
Barry Bonds type where he's kind of a jerk, and Robert De Niro's a fan, one of those older white guys who loves baseball, and Wesley, bro, you brought it on yourself, dude.
Wesley should have been nicer.
Yeah, so again, and we say this, no joke. be nice to everyone you come across, because
There's
never.
no reason to be mean.
There's no reason to put that negativity out there.
No,
You
'cause
never
you gonna get it
know.
back.
Well, not only that, you don't know what somebody's dealing with, man. Like watching this, you don't and that's why I said with Thomas Wayne, he didn't know what he was dealing with, and why would you treat him knowing who his mom was and what he dealt with? But again, unreliable narrator, and you saw Brian Tyree look at him like, bro, he was talking, chopping it up, and then he read the file and was like, "You Penny son."
Well, you know,
I can't.
Yeah.
It's like
that was pretty good. He's like,
No.
I'm about to lose my job.
And the thing is, because
shut it down.
he knew what this dude went through.
Right.
And that's why I was like, yo, man, and I'm guilty of losing my cool, but I always try to treat people with kindness and respect. But unless you piss me off,
Okay.
they don't deserve
Y'all
it.
heard it here, so.
Some of them don't deserve it. And
not
I was
what I'm
good.
saying.
I was good today. When
Sure.
I got mad, I walked out the room.
Yeah.
I mean, you
came
did it
back.
kind of like with the door opening.
That
Did you
would-
open the door? I don't know what happened with the
slammed the
door.
door or something.
Slam the door or
Well,
something?
no, one, I didn't slam on anybody. I didn't say anything to anybody, and I walked away.
He did.
See, that's progress.
He's still praying for Leroy.
But no, there's no reason to put that negativity out there. And that's why we say this all the time. Be nice, even if we disagree, we can do it with civility.
I want to commend the chat. You guys
Yeah.
have had differing opinions. Nobody's been, a jerk to anybody, which has been great. Keep this up.
Oh,
spread,
yeah, we
spread
love
this to
this.
your other communities.
Oh, yes.
We've had a nice discussion. We don't all agree on everything, but we're able to talk. And
I love the guys who came in here, the guys and the girls from Kavari, UEI, Clay Portis, Ray Sean, Jeremiah Hall.
Baby Boot too. Yes.
That's Lauren's friend, apparently.
IMAX. I swear, I think Jeremiah used to work here. Jeremiah used to be a photographer here that used to work with us. So I want to say, if Jeremiah, you still out there, let me know if that is you, because the icon is small as heck.
We can't see.
We
y'all.
can't see. But what's your view on Jared
If
Leto?
only we had a monitor that was bigger.
Y'all go ahead and wrap up on that end.
Kavari, I will say Jared Leto gets a lot of hate, and someone brought up a good theory that Jared Leto is the son of Arthur Fleck and is a disappointment as the Joker and trying to be against the Joker. I've seen that theory floated in some chat rooms and Reddit, and I'll be honest with you, but he played a thug that just was. He played a millennial
looked
Joker.
the part.
He looked the part, and I actually like Jared Leto.
Yeah.
I like Jared Leto, and I like Jared Leto's Joker. I actually one of the few people who like Suicide Squad. Even though I know it's a flawed movie, it's a bad movie. I still like Jared Leto as the Joker.
We need some of you, like more of you in the world, I guess, right?
What?
People that like.
I like Jared. For me, love Man of Steel. Did not like Batman vs Superman.
Oh.
Did not like Justice League. I like Suicide Squad.
No, I like Justice League. I
Did
love
not like
Man of
Justice
Steel. I love Batman vs Superman.
Hated it. Oh, son, I was so mad. Oh, the only thing that saved that movie was Gal Gadot
Exactly, that's why I liked it.
and Amy Adams.
Yeah.
Those and what's the old girl's name who played Martha? Sally Fields.
Yeah.
I like it wasn't Sally Fields. It was
Yes, it was.
Was it Sally Fields?
David Cooper's in the chat.
Yeah, he was. I saw him.
Because I saw him right Leon.
Yeah. You know I can unfollow David Cooper up. I see you, homie. My frenemy. But no, I like Jared Leto. So, but guys, we got to wrap this up because I'm hungry. Lauren's got to go and finish her package. Michael's got to go do the 11. And I want to say thank you to everybody.
Michael does not.
He does it. Oh, it must be
We
nice.
have other producers.
Yeah. So I want to give a shout out to everybody that's in here. Baby Butu, UI, Dr. Up, Clay Portis, David Cooper, Kavari, Jeremiah
IMAX
Hall,
when he finally sees this.
IMAX,
Yeah.
They
Ray
finally
Sean the
see this
Kid, Rishab,
Yeah.
Rishab, Walk Less.
Diane Lane.
Thank you. I knew it wasn't Sally Field.
Well, who was? I thought Sally Field was in.
Sally Field was in something else.
She was in something else.
She's a lot of stuff.
She was a lot of things.
Yeah, you're right.
My bad, Sally.
Dark
My bad,
OPs,
Diane.
Dark Ops. I said Dark OPs.
You
I
did.
did.
It's been a long day.
Candy, Clay Portis, guys, I want to say thank you for joining us. We really appreciate it, you guys. We had a great conversation. So, what's up?
Since I'm off the mic,
Yeah.
Everybody that enjoyed this chat, tell your friends to come back and watch our stuff.
Yeah, come back and watch it.
Like,
And,
comment, subscribe, all that.
I honestly, you know what we should do? We should consider doing. I know we're going to see Gemini Man. We should consider doing maybe
What, alive?
a live one when we finally see Gemini Man.
This is stuff we can talk about after
Yeah.
we do this, and
Yeah.
we're gonna sign off. Like,
Right.
comment, subscribe.
Little bookkeeping behind it.
We're out.
Yeah. Peace.